Hello there and welcome back to the world of writers. Oh, this is so much fun. Doing everything yourself. So look what I've got now. I have made myself, I bought myself a little studio. And this is in my little caravan, which is hilarious, right? So I've got a condenser microphone and a sound box. So what this is supposed to do is take out the background noise and make it so that you audible is clearer. And what I am doing is I am going to turn my own book into an audible book. Now, this isn't the actual book that I've got out. The one that I've got out now has got smaller font and it's just laid out slightly different, which is great, but this one's better for me because the writing's bigger and I can read it better without my reading glasses, so I am going to read it myself. So got my laptop waiting. I don't know if I've got the thing ready there. I'll just have a look because I am doing this one thing at a time. So this one here, I don't know if you can see that. It's a recording voice memo and it's on Apple Mac. So on Apple Mac, what I'm going to do is try and do like a chapter at a time, record it, and that will put it into one file, and then you keep going until you've got all the files. But if you're going to do it yourself, you want to do it in very small sections and then listen to it back as you go. So this is going to take a long time to do this. Now, to get someone else to do it, you've got to pay them a hourly rate, and then they do their own editing and they do their own studio work. So it can be very, very expensive to turn any book into audio if you're using people. And that's why most authors don't do it. So it's something crazy, like there's 1 million books or something like that right now on Amazon, on KDP. So you've got a massive market there. But when it comes to Audible, it's a lot less. And the reason why is, like I said, most small authors can't afford to do the Audible. And there is a market for Audible because I've done a lot of research, and there are people with problems with eyesight that can't read very well, and people who just enjoy listening to audio. Now, before TV, we had radio. So people sat around a radio to listen to plays. So there is an audience and people do want to hear books. So a little bit more research. Would you rather hear an AI voice reading your book, which is a lot cheaper to do? I could do that for about 300 quid. But it doesn't have all the nuances of the human voice. It doesn't have all the emotions. And also the voices are quite generic because I've looked into it. So you can get like the generic American sounds and the generic English. But my book, The Dark Sky, is written in Halifax, where I come from. And Halifax is a Yorkshire town in England. And when I asked people in my groups, would you rather hear like a generic English male or female voice reading my book, or would you rather listen to a Yorkshire accent? And would you rather listen to the author themselves? And most people said they would rather listen to the author reading their own book. Now, when you speak to authors, most of them that I've spoken to have said they don't want to do it because they don't like the sound of the voice, they don't have the time to do it, they don't know how to do it, and they don't think it's worth it. Because it's a lot of effort to read through a full book in little tiny sections like this, record it, edit it, and put it into files, upload it all onto another platform. Then you've got to get your own ISBN number, which is your own personal number that relates to your book. And so that's about £100 per format. So I would have to spend £100 to do this regardless. But then you can send it to things like Audible, and I'm not sure which other ones are out there. There's quite a few, and this is where people listen to books. But why not do it? It's going to take me months to do this probably, because I'm going to have to keep doing it again and again. And there'll be times when I do like a stutter, which I do, or I don't pronounce something properly, or I just get the tone just not quite right. And so I'd have to re-edit and keep going over it. So if you sat down and read a book from start to finish in one go, a book this long would take about 6.5 hours, I reckon, to 7 hours. But you can't record your voice that long without getting tired and without making mistakes. So you've got to break it down into small sections and then just do it a little bit at a time. And then you've got to listen back to each small section to make sure that there's no hissing and background noise. Now, I live on a holiday park, a caravan park, and at the moment it's very quiet. But they do cut the grass and they get the streamers out, and then you've got the noise. And then next door to the park is a small airport, and they have just built last year a helicopter pad. And when the helicopter starts, it is so noisy you can't even hear yourself think. And when they start the helicopters, it's 15 minutes of it running before they take off, and then when they come back it's another 15 minutes for it to sort of stop with the engine and stuff. So it's very, very noisy, and then you've got the background traffic and everything. So I've got that little studio. I'm hoping that will work. I'll have to do a lot of this on a night time when people have stopped working and it's a bit quieter. It's going to take me months to do it, but I'm going to do it. If I can do this, then I have learnt another skill. And learning skills like this is valuable, because let's just say that I get really good at writing books and reading them out loud, audio, and getting them all up and done. Because if I can become like really good at this, other people might say, will you do it for me? And it could turn into a profession. And it's another string to your bow, isn't it? It's like you're learning skills that can help you if other things fail. So I never give up trying, even if I'm not good at it and I'm not the best at it. It doesn't matter, because you're still pushing yourself forward and learning something new. So this is going to be a very valuable skill. So I'm going to have a go at this now while I've got time. I've got the rest of the day off, and then tomorrow, and I'm going to try and do at least a few hours of this. And if I can do it well enough and get myself a good program to put the files on and get it uploaded, then there's a chance that I could have this done by the time I start writing my next book, which is going to be in November. And if I can do that, then I can turn that one into an audio. So this is exciting. So the best thing to do is keep on plodding forward. At the moment my book's not doing great. Despite me doing things like this, which is making my own bookmarkers, putting them up everywhere. I've got posters all over working the tourist information, and I have also got my book for sale in the shop here. But people would rather just you tell them about the book and they don't read it. So only a few people have read it who I know, and the ones who have read it have said it's brilliant and they love it, and I've got 5 stars on Amazon. But not enough people are buying it, and I'm not bothered, because the reason why, this is out to other authors, by the way, because I do know quite a lot. Not all of them make enough money to live on. In fact, most don't. They say that only like a few % of authors ever make enough money from the books to live on. Most authors don't even sell more than 100 copies. That is a very difficult thing to do. So the more out there you are, the more popular you get in your writing in that field, the more obviously people will buy your books. But if you're a nobody from nowhere like me, and you've been shadow banned, which I have, on Facebook, I'm not allowed to make any comments on any groups now because I'm a controversial person. And because of that, I can't advertise my books in local groups like This is Halifax or Information Urban or whatever. So they won't even let me advertise myself. So it's very difficult to get out there when you've been shadow banned. But I'm not going to stop doing it ever, because when you do your research and you look at people like J.K. Rowling and things like this, most of these people were writing for many years before anyone ever came across them. Nobody knew who these people were until one moment in time, the right person, the right location, the right opportunity came and blew them out of the window. You never know. Now, what you can guarantee is you will go nowhere in life if you don't try. But if you do try and you keep putting yourself out there and you keep talking and you keep promoting yourself and you keep writing, who's to say that in the future someone's not going to come across you and go, do you know what, I like that? And they're the kind of person that can do something with it, like take it to the next level. So don't ever give in. And don't think, oh, I'm crap because no one's bought my books. It doesn't mean you're crap, it just means you haven't been discovered. And we're surrounded by people who say stuff like, oh, well, you know, it sounds good or whatever, but they don't actually buy it. But just remember that everything that you do all matters. And it's quite funny because, I mean, I'm 56 now, but I can look back at all the things I've done in my life and the amount of times I've sat there and said, what was the point? What was the point in me learning how to do that and that? Because it didn't come to nothing. But that's not true. Because one day, somewhere down the line, those little things I learned 20, 30 years ago, I'm now using now to help me with my writing and other things like that. And at the time I remember thinking, but what's the point? But there was a point. So nothing is for nothing. Everything matters. And that is why it's important to never give up on yourself and say, I'm no good. Just because nobody buys your book or listens to your music or watches you dance or do whatever it is you do, doesn't mean you're rubbish. It doesn't mean that at all. And just remember that most people who are rich and famous are in the right circles. And so it's just getting yourself out there. I'm in a writers group and there's usually about 6 of us at a meeting, but there's a lot in the group, but we can't all come together at the same day. And most of them have written something, either a book or a play or a radio play or a script for a stage. There's so many different types of writing. See, you can eat helicopter again now. There's so many different types of writing out there and so many different ways to do stuff, but they all matter. And just because no one's ever read your book or seen your film or listened to your piece of music don't mean anything. You know, you just need to get in those circles, get other people to listen. I mean, when I went to the last meeting, this is the helicopter coming over again. I said this is how it's going to be really hard to do audible. Very, very noisy. I'll wait till it goes past because it's annoying. Very. You can do it. So, I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, while I was in the writers group last week, one of the guys said, your book looks good, because I took it along and he said it looks really good. Have you thought about doing a talk about it? And I said yes. and he said we'll arrange one here. So I'm going to do it in November because that's the next time I can get off, and I'm going to do a little talk about my book. How many people will come? Anywhere between 2 and 20. You don't know, but it doesn't matter. Go anyway, do it anyway, take some books with you, and the more you talk about it, the more out there it gets. If one person buys your book and they really love it, they might talk about it to somebody else, and they might say, oh, I'll have a read of that. And if they like it, and then you bring another book out, then they'll go, oh, we're going to buy next book because we liked this one. And that's how it works. So just remember that every little thing that you do is only like a little trickle. But one day, trickles turn into pour, right? And then one day, it's gushing, right? That's how I see it. So you can say you're a nobody because you've made no money and no sales, but one day you could be doing absolutely amazing because you never gave in and you continue to do it. So don't ever put yourself down. Even the writing of the book and saying, that is mine, I wrote that, is a massive achievement, because I know I've spent most of my life procrastinating and saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I'll start and I'll get to chapter 2 and I'm like, oh God, I haven't got time, I need to go and do this and that. And I've put it down. So the fact that I've got 2 books out in 1 year, to me, is a massive achievement, because it means I've focused finally in my 50s. For the first time in my life, I focused enough to actually finish something. So don't give in on yourself. And I know a lady, she watches my videos, you know who you are, and she's written books, or at least one, and she's in her 70s. You are never too old for nothing. You be whoever you want, do whatever you want. Just don't hurt people along the way. Just do it for you, and everything will come right. So keep looking out for my book on Amazon now, and soon, in the next few months, hopefully, it will be out on Audible. And what would be great, because you know I've never been monetised in 12 years of flipping YouTube. Again, I've not given in. I keep saying I'm going to. I keep saying, what's the point in doing YouTube? Because I don't go nowhere with this. But I've talked to some lovely people. I've met some lovely people through YouTube. It's not for nothing. You know, I've got a record of 12 years of me being in Scotland and the adventures I've gone on with my doggies. It's all memories. And one day that might come to something. So again, there could be a day when that gets monetised. If I do a book and it's a 6.5 hour Audible on YouTube channel, and enough people just listen to it in the background for 6 hours, that will get me monetised on my channel, which means I can get little dribs and drabs coming in through my YouTube channel on my book. So it's not for nothing. It's worth it. And I'm not going to give in ever. So I am going to go now. I'm going to shove my face with something, I think. I'm going to go and get some water. And then I am going to look at my little girl, because she's sleeping, little soul. And do my jobs, check on my veg, and then I will be back onto this. So bye.